Christina Paxson, the president of Brown University, says she's leaving after this coming academic year. That means this September. That means this semester starts in September, and then the one after that, January, and then graduation in May will be her last. She was on a 10 News conference with me a few months ago. I asked her about staying on. Your future there is up to the corporation. What kind of conversations have you had with them in the aftermath? Are you confident that they have faith in you to continue?
I believe they have faith in me, yes. And
you have faith, you want to stay?
Well, my last contract extension went through the end of the 27-28 academic year. And
do you want to make some news here? Or would you like that renewed? Or at some point, everybody's had enough, whether there was a shooting or not. At some point, everybody comes to the end.
It has been 14 years, but I will say the first people to learn about any news on this, the first will be my husband, and the second will be the corporation. So.
All right, so this could be a decision you make independent of whatever view the corporation has on your future or whomever the next person is going to be.
Absolutely, it's a joint decision.
What kind of conversations have you had, though, with the board? You call them the corporation, the board of trustees?
They're the governing board.
They basically run the university.
They oversee the governance.
Big strokes. What kind of conversations did you have with them?
Well, we've had a lot of conversations about how we can investigate December 13th in a way that has a lot of integrity, and make sure that we continue to put safety and security at the heart of everything we do. We have, over the last 10 years, made extensive investments, continued investments in safety and security at Brown.
Yes, that's the board. Those are the bankers, the hedge fund people, the investment experts. Throw a couple of doctors in there, maybe an academic to make it look good, but those are the people who run the place. A little bit of a disconnect between that board. A lot of money people from New York and elsewhere. Overseeing the whole thing, and then you get the whole argument about whether the place is too liberal. But I'll tell you, there's a difference between the board and the faculty and the student body. Anyway, we don't know if she's being shown the door in the wake of the shooting and how she handled that. We don't know, or whether she's had enough of her own. Whatever it is, they're giving her an academic year to get her act together and pack up and make room for the next one. Now, her record, well, how do you want to look at it? She's the longest-serving Ivy League president of them. She lasted over there after the shooting and after the fight with Donald Trump over anti-Semitism. Others not so lucky, right? Columbia bounced theirs, Harvard bounced too, University of Pennsylvania out, and out, but she hung on, and she's going to hang on for another year. I don't know if she's being shown the door slowly. Why don't you, it's time to go, because the shooting report isn't even out yet. And we know that there weren't enough cameras on campus. And we know that there was a homeless guy supposedly living in the basement of the building, and he told someone, and someone didn't tell someone in authority. So that's a whole mess that has to be dealt with. And we know that Donald Trump said there was too much anti-Semitism on campus, and that she settled with the government over that rather than lose $500 million in federal funding. She cut a check for $50 million. That's what Donald Trump wanted. Play that soundbite on the settlement with Donald Trump and whether or not there was anti-Semitism on campus. It was carrot and stick. It had $510 million worth of action. Donald Trump said, you're being anti-Semitic on campus, I'm going to stop that. He got your attention. He got your attention with that.
Yes.
And you're saying that we agreed to a $50 million settlement, we've agreed to make other changes. Is that basically saying because he was right?
Actually, the agreement that we signed has no finding of fault. And I think that's important.
What do you think? Was he right about this?
I have been so committed to combating anti-Semitism on campus, and not just during the Trump administration, but for years.
Right after the attacks in Israel a couple of years ago, she went out at a candlelight vigil to try to make nice with the protesters. They wound up chasing her right off her own campus. That was not a good look. So she settled, although she said, I disagree with him on other things, and I didn't agree to everything he said. You had the shooting, lack of cameras, homeless guy in the basement, whole host of problems. They let her hang on. She was going to leave a while ago, but they let her hang on, and now they're going to let her hang on for another year. And whether or not they're showing her the door with a slow two-step out, or whether or not she's just had enough of them, we don't know. We didn't know, because we don't know the real story between the conversations she had with the board and the guy who runs the board, Brian Moynihan, the banker from Bank of America. You want to know about a school? Look at the board of trustees. How many hedge fund? How many Wall Street people? How many bankers? How many investment people really have a say in what's going on at Brown? Brown University.